Hello everybody and welcome back to Fresh Off the Court from WGK's Rock Solid Sports. I got Joseph Bonanno here with me tonight. I'm your host Jack Foster, and tonight we are recapping Tennessee's basketball win over Florida right here in Thompson Bowling Arena, 78-71. They were down 42-34 at halftime, but they overcame that deficit and eventually won the ball game here, staying undefeated in conference play at home. Joseph, what's your biggest overall takeaway from tonight?
I think it's the guard play, Jack. With the post game being as inconsistent as it is, Euros 9 minutes, no points. Fulkerson had probably his best game in the past since the Arizona game, yeah. Playing almost 18 minutes, has 9 points, and Olivier not really playing well, only scored 6 points. I think the guards, they were the story. Zakai Ziegler came in that first half, hit 2 big back-to-back threes, and created a spark. Then, we got a block, got a steal, passed it to KC. KC got another big 3. And then obviously Vescovi came in, 23 points, leading scorer for both teams. Just a phenomenal job by those guards.
Yeah, absolutely. And Santiago tying a career high in 3 points made here tonight with 5. He has been electric from beyond the arc all season. He's continuing that as conference play ramps up. And you mentioned the post presence. It's been very inconsistent as of late. We've seen Uros start the last 3 games. Obviously, Fulke was struggling when he got COVID prior to that Alabama game, and then he struggled after that. What is the answer to that, Joseph? Who do you think will be the answer to that?
Honestly, at this point, I really don't know. And I honestly don't think Rick Barnes knows, because we're still seeing all 3 guys, both Olivier, Uros, and Fulkerson, all kind of get in there in that post game. And so right now, as Rick Barnes mentioned in the post-game press conference, John Fulkerson actually took himself out in that second half when he realized that he couldn't go anymore.
Yeah.
Clearly he's not at 100%. He's still feeling the effects from having COVID, but he's understanding, and he's putting the team first, and that's exactly what you want to see from a guy like that. But for right now, I think it's just going to have to mix all 3 guys in until you find someone who clearly dominates it, because right now it's not there. But I honestly don't think Rick Barnes will need to worry about the postgame, because these guards, like I mentioned, have taken over. Tennessee shot 11 for 23 from the 3. That's their best 3 shooting game of the season.
Right?
It's been phenomenal. And if they keep playing like that, the postgame will absolutely follow.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Zakai Ziegler is just so fun to watch. He's personally my favorite player to watch on this team. He brings the energy every time.
Oh, I agree. Anytime he comes in, like Rick Barnes said, something good happens. And he credits his defensive energy, but honestly, it's just as good on the offensive side of the ball.
Right, and you mentioned that stretch there. We made 2 threes, then KC made 1. Tennessee was trailing 21-10 at that time and had no answers for the Gators. But once they got that to 21-19, they kind of coasted into halftime with just an 8-point deficit. Then they were obviously able to make some noise in the second half. But you mentioned Olivier Kamwa, obviously only 6 points tonight. But Rick Barnes mentioned he's just got to start taking shots.
Yeah, you noticed it down low. He would get the ball, he would try to back up in towards the goal, and then he would just pass it back out as if, he couldn't be physical enough to get it in. And we have seen him be physical enough to get to the rim, and he's done it before, and he's done it beautifully before.
Right.
It's just I don't think he trusts himself right now, and that's something he's going to have to work on. And hopefully, as the season, keeps progressing and we get to the end, we see Olivier, start taking those close to the rim shots, start putting up and play a lot more physical like we know he can.
Absolutely, and the guards have just been playing so well. I'm curious to see if Rick Barnes starts playing some smaller rotations more often, with Joe at the 4 and then play Casey and Ziegler.
I think it's possible, but I don't know if Josiah is the best player to put at the 4. And I know when you're going that small guard, he's obviously the best one out there because he's huge for a guard.
Right.
But,
and he's a leader just vocally on the court.
He
always leads the Vols in minutes. He had 38 tonight.
He did. So. And, but those guards, I think Rick Barnes can trust like we said, we saw both Ziegler and KC running the point. There's at points KC was, motioning Ziegler to get into position. It was the other way. Other times it was the other way around. So I think Rick Barnes has a really good group in the backcourt, and he doesn't really need to worry about that. And so once those post games starts going, he's gonna be able to mix in so many different lineups, and this team's going to be pretty good, but just got to play more consistently.
Absolutely, and Tennessee's got a big one coming up this weekend on the road against Texas, where Rick Barnes formerly coached. What do you expect to see from the Vols then?
I expect them to come out focused. Vescovi in the postgame mentioned that they weren't really focused in the first half. They kind of let Florida get to them, and I don't think they'd do it again. I know it's going to be pretty emotional for Coach, not being back in Texas in 7 years. He did have a very long career there, coached some great players such as Kevin Durant. But I think this team's going to have to come out a lot more focused than they did against Florida. And honestly, I think they will step up to that challenge.
Well, everybody, leading into that battle of UTs this weekend, Tennessee makes it 3 in a row with yet another conference win tonight here in Thompson-Boling Arena with a 7-point win over the Florida Gators. For Joseph Bonanno, I'm Jack Foster, and this has been Fresh Off the Court from WTK's Rock Solid Sports.